juxtaposition and motif in the bluest eye. Who would like to start us off? Well, I think that Morrison uses the motif of blue eyes heavily in the book, as is mentioned in roughly almost every single chapter. I mean, let's be honest, the book is called The Bluest Eye.
Okay, but like juxtaposition is in the book too. Like remember that one part where Geraldine was loving and favoring that cat, which specifically had black fur and blue eyes? I mean, this obviously compares to Pecola and how she wants to be a black girl with blue eyes. When the cat is looked at as beautiful, she feels as if she should be looked at in the same way due to their similar features. I mean, at the end of the day, Pecola just wants to be seen as beautiful.
But no. The only literary device that Morrison used was motif, and I obviously know I'm right because it's in the name.
What? Where am I? Is this not Spanish class?
While both students aren't wrong, they also aren't right. You see, they didn't consider the fact that in a book there isn't just one literary device. Many types of literary devices were presented in The Bluest Eye, such as setting, conceit, characterization, and illusion. We will specifically be focusing on juxtaposition and motif.
Let's start off with motifs first. A motif is a dominant idea in a literary work, which is usually repeated in the novel to emphasize it. The big motif in this novel is blue eyes. The blue eyes symbolize beauty, more specifically a white version of beauty. This type of beauty has been defined from Pecola and her community. For example, a discussion of beauty in the novel is when Claudia, Frida, and Pecola are discussing their Shirley Temple cup. Frida and Pecola were having a loving conversation about how cute Shirley Temple was. Keep in mind that she's a young white girl who was beloved by the public. Morrison used this motif to inform her audience that beauty is only white beauty, and that there's no room for other kinds of beauty.
The motif of blue eyes also symbolizes blindness for Pecola. Ever since she got her blue eyes, she mistook people ignoring her for being jealous of her blue eyes. The community would gossip about her getting pregnant, and they would blame her for what happened because of her ugliness. Pecola would say that, just because I got blue eyes bluer than theirs, they're prejudice. Her yearning for beauty and blue eyes led to the horror at the heart of her yearning, is exceeded only by the evil of fulfillment, also known as madness. Morrison is showing a darker tone with this motif, as she is showing that white beauty is so idolized that it can ruin, specifically young black girls. Because the black community has white standards pressed upon them, they are more greatly judged for not being white.
In this novel, juxtaposition plays a prominent role in establishing the stereotypes. Juxtaposition is when two or more ideas, places, characters, and their actions are placed to develop comparisons and contrasts. For example, the juxtaposition of the whites and the blacks create a social hierarchy of power. In this hierarchy, the whites are at the top, meanwhile the blacks, especially black females, are on the bottom. Because of this hierarchy, even the black women are against each other. An example of this can be seen in Pecola's mother, Polly, who works as a nanny for a white family. Pecola visits her mother at work and accidentally drops a blueberry pie that Pecola's mother had made. Her mom disciplines her by beating her. However, when the white girl she works for witnesses what Polly was doing, Polly treats her in the complete opposite manner. Polly called the white girl baby and was motherly to her. She was more concerned about the floor than Pecola's burns. When Polly was asked who Pecola was, Polly quickly avoided answering. This stereotype is that white society is prized over others.
This is also exemplified by the stereotype that blacks are considered dirty. Geraldine, a half-white, half-black woman, says, "Get out," while her voice is quiet. "You nasty little black bitch, get out of my house." Because she is half-white, she has more power than the other black people. However, this power has seemed to dominate her mind as she screams nasty things to a fellow black girl, Pecola.
This shows that society has created this stereotype that even Geraldine believes in and externalizes. At the end of the day, Morrison is trying to terminate the concept of discrimination and abolish the stereotypes society has created for others who aren't white. She does this through two types of literary devices, of juxtaposition and motif. With motifs, Morrison is informing her audience that the white standards of beauty are ruining communities of people of color, and how we should abolish these standards to help communities come together. Morrison creates juxtaposition in order to display the prejudice against blacks, even by people of the same color.